If you want the best schemes created by the best players in the world, head over to acemadden.com, get yourself a membership, and make sure to use code ACE for 10% off at checkout. What's up, guys? It's your boy Ace from acemadden.com, and today I'm going to show you guys the best run defense in Madden 22. Now, this isn't clickbait. I really do believe this is the best run defense because it's going to be easy to set up. It's universal. It works really, really well against formations with a fullback in the game, but it can work against single back as well. And overall, it's just going to be able to contain any single run in the game. And I really do believe that, and I'll show you in this video. Now, before I get into the breakdown, I just want to let you know this is a segment out of K. Dillon's new defensive ebook. You can find that on acemadden.com. It's out of the Miami defense, and you can use 3-3-5 odd, 3-3-5 wide, big nickel over G is what we're going to be talking about now. That's also one of his breakdowns. But if you guys like an aggressive play style, he has some really, really good blitzes. His 6-man is pretty much impossible to block. So if you guys need a defense like that, be sure to check it out on acemadden.com. K. Dillon is a member of TNC, by the way, and he's a young, up-and-coming player. He's going to be very, very good for the years to come. So let's go ahead and get into the breakdown. I'm in the 4-6 playbook right now, but you can find big nickel over G in, let me go through the playbooks real quick. 4-3, 4-6, Chiefs, Colts, Dolphins, Eagles, Giants, Raiders, Texans, and Vikings. So if you use any of those playbooks, like I said, he uses the Miami Dolphins defensive playbook. I use the 4-6, so I can have my 3-3-5 normal and my 3-3-5 wide as well. And that's a very popular playbook, but so is the Dolphins. Okay, so let's talk about what we have to do with our personnel. So I wouldn't say the Bucs are the absolute best team to use this defense with. Like the Bucs are stacked, don't get me wrong, but the reason that it's not the best is because you do kind of want some speed at these back end safeties, and I'll show you why. Winfield and Whitehead are very good safeties overall in real life, but in Madden they're kind of slow. So we're not going to have, the absolute best success, but you're going to see it doesn't really matter with, it just contains the run on its own. You'll see. So we're going to have our slot cornerback in the game. You're going to do that with your right stick. You see how the right stick changes the packages. Look in the bottom left. Just do right stick left once, and now your slot cornerback is going to be in the game. That's important because your adjustments will be different. So I'm not going to show you, but just know that if you do not change your packages, your adjustments that you make are going to be really, really funky compared to other formations you use. So if you want just normal adjustments, go to the slot cornerback package. Okay. And the rest of you just want to have your best players on the field. So don't worry about the personnel too much. Okay, so the play's going to be cover 3 sky. And we'll just go through a bunch of different popular running formations, or run heavy formations, I should say. So we'll have a dive in there, and let's go ahead and start with stretch. So this setup is going to be extremely easy. All you're going to do is press, wire triangle, left stick down. You're going to pinch your D-line, D-pad left, left stick down. You're going to crash your D-line up, so D-pad left, right stick up. And then you're going to grab the safety. In this case, he's the single high safety. You're going to bring him right down to about here. And then you're going to blitz him. So A or X and then right stick down. So your only job is to just read the offensive line and basically read and react. So we're going to see that it's a stretch or an outside run, and we're just going to flow to that side. We are never going to be shooting any runs. So if you want to shoot a run for a negative 2 or 3 yard gain, this is not your defense because this is going to just contain any run. It's going to basically stop them for a 0, 1 or 2 yard gain. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. You're going to see that we're going to have people out there, and this slot cornerback is going to shed a lot. This formation in general just sheds really well. And you're going to see that it's really hard for him to hit anything. That outside linebacker is really getting outside. I mean, you just cannot run to the edge. As you can see, this tight end is going to have a hard time setting the edge on the slot cornerback who has already successfully set the edge. He has to hit this hole. And then we have our user. We have a defensive tackle shedding. And this is consistent. I'll show you again. It's going to be the same deal the next time we call it. So remember, press, pinch your D-line, crash them up, grab the safety, user right about here, right behind your linebackers, and then just go ahead and flow over to this side. So you're going to see it's going to be the same story every single time against this stretch. And this stretch is actually pretty popular right now. Now, same thing if they flip their run and go to the left. You're just going to read and react, go to that side, and you're going to see that it doesn't matter if they flip their run because we have a somewhat symmetrical formation. Well, it is actually symmetrical. It's not always going to be symmetrical, but as of right now, it is. So one thing I should probably address before people start, getting angry and typing in the comment section is you're going to notice when we blitz this safety, you're going to notice, if they do a play action or a pass, the deep middle of the field is open. And yeah, you're right, it is. So here's what you're going to do if you're really worried about the pass. I personally like to put the weak side linebacker in a middle third. So you just click on him, A, X, and then left stick up, and then you just run the defense as normal. So you're going to see it's not really going to change much. You're going to see I kind of messed up there. And if you have a faster safety, it's going to be even better. But Winfield, unfortunately, isn't, the fastest guy. But it's not going to change much for you if they run away from your middle third. But I will say that it does make your run defense worse. Because what's happening now is this guy is no longer in a run fit. You're going to see how he starts backpedaling. So what happens if they flip the run towards our linebacker middle third? So let's go ahead and do that. Put him on a middle third. Let's flip the run. And then we'll snap it. And you're going to see we now have one less guy in the run fit. So yes, the run defense does get worse if they flip the run to the side that you put a middle linebacker into a middle third. So as you can see, we still have our user free, but we whiff. And at that point, you just kind of have to have a really fast linebacker to make up some ground and hopefully make a play. But typically, if you're playing a run-heavy user, you can just kind of leave it like this. And then if you see it's a pass, you can just play the deep middle on your own. So, let's go ahead and just do something like this. Maybe put X on a streak. Maybe put A on a streak. You just look for the play action, and then you see, boom, you can just kind of go up to the middle field on your own. And you're still going to get decent pressure. These defensive ends are going to shed really well. So that was the stretch. Let's go ahead and talk about the dive. You're going to see these defensive tackles are going to shed a ton. You're going to see that's consistent. That animation is very consistent. And we don't even have to technically overcommit with our user. I'll show you if you literally just kind of just hang back. So let's just say that you can't recognize what the play is and you don't really get your user involved. You just kind of stay back here. You're going to still see that our defense is going to do a really good job stopping it. So that's going to be IForm close. I'll show you other formations as well, just to show you that, yes, it is a universal defense. Let's go ahead and go to close flex. We have an ISO in there. We'll do a stretch. Remember, same setup, press, pinch your D-line, crash them up, blitz your user, and hover right about here. So now we have Whitehead as our safety. And it's going to be the same thing. You're just going to flow over here. And we're always going to have free players. Always. And it's pretty much thanks to the defensive line. The defensive line is just really allowing our players to flow behind them. And it's not because of how good they are. It's because of their alignment and this formation in general. So don't get the wrong idea. It's not because we have a Pro Bowl defensive line. It's just because big nickel over G is really good. Okay. Same thing. I'll show you it's not a fluke, and then we'll flip the run. And just like that. Let's go ahead and flip the run now. Our linebacker blew that up on his own. One more time, then we'll go to inside run. Okay, that was actually, if Zeke was running a little faster, that could have been bad news, actually. Let's do that one more time. It seemed like our linebacker got caught up a little bit. And that's actually what we want to happen. We want this guy to come free, the slot cornerback. You want this guy to be shedding. So let's go ahead and look at that. He actually didn't shed. He just kind of shot it. And that's ideal. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the inside run now. So let's go to ISO. It's going to be the same thing. You're just going to be patient. You don't got to shoot down and overcommit. You're going to get a shed between these two defensive tackles. And if not, these linebackers should do a good job. He had a slight hole. Our user would have been there, but as you can see, there's nothing too crazy going on there. There's no massive hole. Okay, so that formation is boxed, at least with the run game, of course. If somebody's very balanced with their attack, you might struggle a little bit more because you have to be a little aggressive with that safety. I understand that, but this is mainly a run defense. Let's go to IForm tight. We'll talk about this formation. And I could go over, all of the formations in the game. It would take probably like 2 or 3 hours, but I'm not going to do that. As you can see, we get a very wide edge just because of that linebacker. He's just flowing completely. And really, since he's flowing, I got to show you this because it's actually somewhat important. Pay attention to the linebacker on the right. So it's Devin White. You're going to see, you see how wide he gets? Basically, what this means is you really never have to worry about them hitting the edge. So don't worry about that. Your responsibility as the user when you see an outside run is to kind of attack outside the, well, not the right tackle, but the tackle's shoulder in general, because he's going to have to run it off tackle. So as you can see, there is a hole, and the hole is off tackle. Our user is, filling, of course. But my point is, do not overcommit to the edge, because our edge is going to be covered between this guy getting a good shed and then this guy overcommitting to the edge. So always attack off tackle. In my opinion, that's what you need to do when you see an outside run. Okay? So let's go ahead and do it again. Remember, attack the outside shoulder of the tackle. We can flip the run. It's going to be the same thing. Flip the run to the left. And we have a very strong edge yet again. Let's go to an inside run. There's our shed by our defensive tackles. It's going to look like they have a hole for a second, but pretty much every time we're just going to get one of these sheds. Like, they actually do have a hole right over here. It's going to be really hard for them to cut it up that quickly to that gap. They'd have to have very good vision and good stick to be able to hit that hole. Even so, you might still get a shed from this guy too. So keep that in mind. He does shed right here. So, and then we also have that outside cornerback, which I haven't mentioned yet. So let's go ahead and run the ISO again. You're going to notice that they don't have a receiver on the left side. So what's going to happen is we have an insurance policy over here, which is going to be our outside cornerback. He's going to be an unblocked player. So anytime they run to the inside, if anything crazy happens, they just get the best blocking of all time, which is not really going to happen versus big nickel over G. But if it does, you do have this guy who's going to be fast enough to be your last line of defense. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please drop a like. It really helps my channel out. And as always, if you enjoy daily Madden 22 content, make sure you hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.